Good evening, and welcome to tonight's episode of Eat, Grip, and Survive, where a bunch of people gather in different locations to play some Dungeons and Dragons, and we're apparently live on the internet again.
Yay!
I've got the thumbs up from Laura. Is there audio coming through?
Yes.
Because this is a common problem when Connor pushes the button, the audio doesn't always work. Okay then, we're back. Yes, it's been an arduous couple of weeks where we've just not been here.
Sorry, I've been busy with life.
Yeah, we had life things happen. We had a birthday. We had just not enough people.
We did an escape room.
We did.
It wasn't the reason why we weren't streaming, but it's like been the highlight of my week.
We did too.
And that's from last week.
Yeah.
It's carried over.
I was gonna say, the highlight from your week this week surely was crawling underneath that static caravan.
That's the moment I really want to forget. It was really, really warm. I got many Winnie the Pooh scenarios. Climbing over an axle underneath a caravan in 40-degree heat and thinking, my bottom is stuck. I require a push. From either end.
So someone find me a plunger.
Yes. My worst bit was stupidly, I went under there, did a load of work, and I had like a couple of little bits left to do. And why I thought that it was okay, I come out and to go and grab something. I thought, you know what? I'm going to have me brew and a sandwich. So I had me brew and me sandwich and got in there and thought, I've made things worse for myself. My ham roll is now impeding me while trying to go through.
Other rolls are available.
No, they're not.
Fair.
Ham and cheese?
Ham and cheese.
Caravan Park only had ham. That was what I was told. No other rolls were available.
Oh, in which case...
Could I have a roll with ham?
They could have just offered me extra ham with your ham. Salami?
Do you like bonus ham?
Who doesn't like bonus ham? Alrighty then. Jared is here. He's just eating.
He's gnawing.
In silence and solitude. Ross is unfortunately not going to be with us because he's looking after his family and his own mental well-being. So he's having a nap, probably.
Ross is asleep.
He may be active in the chat, as we will find out eventually. Who knows? Say hello to him.
Sorry, now I know having a nap's an option. Can we do that instead?
Yeah.
Excuse you, you've done nothing all day.
Exactly. It's very tiring doing nothing.
Agreed.
Dear. So, back into the world that we once left. Where we last left off, you guys had teleported into, well, had snuck your way into the Contrivance Union that had been overrun by the Elemental Plane of Fire, stole your blimp back, fought with the captain of that branch of the...
The project leader.
Yeah, project leader, Ferrari. And then skedaddled very quickly after you killed a couple of her allies and left one of them alone.
Can also just say, like, probably the best use of time stop I've ever seen in D&D.
That was great.
To steal this shit.
It was awesome.
You managed to make, in my eyes, one of the worst spells in D&D fun.
It's a preparation spell. It's not
such a bad spell for the level.
It was nerfed for 5th edition.
Yeah.
It used to be much better.
Laura finally found a way to make it fun.
But just a heist. So having...
But I had it as well. So
Yeah.
I read I reread Leela like every time.
I forgot you had it as well, to be honest.
Because it's fucking useless.
Yeah.
Having defeated Ferrari and Ferrari Hearth and forced her to escape, the single remaining Simic hybrid, designation K-17, has left behind and surrendered. You then spent a good half an hour or so looking over the ship and getting yourselves ready to teleport back into the Contrivance Union and take the fight to them and catch them by surprise. Only they were expecting you. They were expecting the Spanish Inquisition.
No.
They had a number of gnomes, prisoners at the ready to kill should you do anything untoward. And the leader of that faction, the Scorch Lord, was stood ready to just squash some gnomes. They brought out Leela's family. Foundling just sort of wandered around a bit and had a look at things, and they let Foundling go off because they reasoned that, well, they could just deal with Foundling later because one person. So they agree to a honourable duel to take place between a champion for the Wandering Stars and a champion for the cult. Lyra volunteered as tribute and took the fight solo-ish to deal with the Scorch Lord. When Lyra fell, the Scorch Lord stood and proclaimed his victory, only to get stabbed in the back of the head by Lyra.
Literally could go in one of those little videos where it's like athletes celebrating too soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you not enter?
Now we are! Lyra running down the fucking ramp with a... Always have a championship belt nearby for occasions like that.
Sorry.
Apparently, a child-sized one.
Well, yeah, the adult ones are really expensive, so...
And to be honest, the child one fits you anyway.
I'll have you know, right? I have whenever I get it, I have to say this is the Mario Party 8 championship belt, which I won while I was at university, and I worked tirelessly for days to get this championship belt, which is why it sits on the shelf as the only victory I've had.
Honor.
Yeah. Given the symbol, wouldn't it be the Wario Party champion?
I was playing Mario.
So, with Lyra defeating the Scorch Lord, you turn to see, apart from Asher in the sky on a Pegasus making a lot of noise and just generally being an annoyance, the entirety of the warriors, slaves, various elementals bowing to their new master. What are you giggling at?
Sent Connor a message saying nice cummerbund.
It's a championship cummerbund.
Ah, yes.
What we need is the
I'll
heist.
not be able to see that now. Thanks, Matt.
It's time for a heist. Go and steal the championship cummerbund.
Can always be arranged.
So,
As soon as it starts, all you have to do is cast a time stop and then take it. Easy.
Have to get the Infinitude gems.
So, that is where we left off with the Lyra stood having the ring of fire that was burning away, and the slaves bowed down. The elementals sort of also bowing somewhat. It looks odd for a fire elemental to be bowing. They don't really understand what's going on, but they're just doing it anyway.
Everyone.
And the various warriors knelt before you. And your compatriots stood upon the balcony of your ship, apart from Asher, who is flying around on a horse, Foundling, who has run off into the village somewhere, and Leela, who is nowhere to be seen.
Mysteriously absent.
Foundling came back
Did Foundling come back? Oh, okay.
once they realised it was a duel rather than a
Yes. War.
or when they realised that once again our plan had gone awry.
Yeah.
Plans go awry.
I
Indeed.
still wonder why we bother to plan. Where
be
are
fair-
we going? Abelos, yeah. Let's just fucking run headlong at it. Just see what
To
happens.
be fair, the whole steal the ship plan went perfectly. It was just everything after that.
Everything
that was-
from that was just a snowball, just rolling down a hill.
It escalated quickly, one might say.
Yes.
Kaltar is currently with designation K17, just keeping an eye on them because you had no part to do in this fight, so you just sort of stood there and dealt and kept an eye on it. But you were telepathically connected to Kafina and Leela, although the connection with Leela has disappeared because you got off the ship. You docked into the ship just so that it had a method of communication. So you were connected with Kafina, but Leela, having got off the ship, has lost that connection. So, Lyra, what do you wish to do?
Stab the
Do I remember correctly that the Scorch Lord's body sort of burnt away?
It exploded and then burnt away as you have contained it in within the
Infinitude gem.
So is there sort of minimal remains?
There are his arms and armaments, effectively. So his two massive spiked shields and his armor.
Adding on one spike shield.
I mean, they are
Won't touch those, 'cause
Taller
they're-
than most of us.
Oh,
they're
still
probably
give it
still
out.
hot to touch, so I'm not going to touch them now.
No.
What Lyra is going to do is she's going to sit cross-legged on the ground, just lay the sword across her lap, and look at all the genasi and elementals and so on.
Okay. They are still head bowed, seemingly waiting for some sort of instruction.
And then she will say in primordial, she can speak that, who speaks for those here?
There's a very little movement from the rest of it, but one warrior raises their head and stands. And you see that this is a very large Ganassi. It seems to be that this is a Ganassi that was crossed with a Goliath at some point in their lineage. Can't really determine gender, shaved head, but the stubble that remains looks like a smouldering coal as they sort of step forwards. Across their back is a significantly sized flail. They step forward and then they kneel before you with the flail, grasped in the hand with three spiked balls hanging off to the right-hand side. And the left presenting the hilt towards you, should you so wish.
Ooh.
I am Umlilo.
Was that Umnilo?
Umlilo. Umlio. Umlio. As he pronounce it, or they pronounce it, sorry.
Umlio.
Umlio, yes. I am commander of this platoon of 3,000 soldiers, 500 elemental, 750 golems, and 500 elementalist mages.
And all of you were slaves of the Scorch Lord?
We were. We are now yours, mistress.
I have lived a long time, but I've never owned a slave. I will need to consider how to proceed.
Of course.
For now, I wish all the slaves who were taken when this place was taken, all the surviving inhabitants of, I've forgotten the name of the place.
Mr. Mal.
Mr. Mull.
Dumal. All the surviving inhabitants of Miss Dumal to be released.
They nod and it will be done,
And
mistress.
brought to this place.
Of course. They turn and repeat the order, and you just hear it being called back. Free the slaves, bring them here. Free the slaves, bring them here. Free the slaves, bring them here. And it just gets up back.
I might try and catch the eye of someone on the ship, or Asher, or someone is just.
Oh yeah, no, I would have, but I was letting you do your thing. I will try and gracefully land alongside Lyra.
Make a performance check for the Pegasus.
I'm going to assume that it's not charismatic.
I will say you can use dexterity instead of
Hang on, let me.
charisma for
I
this.
rolled a 14 and it's in extras. No. Oh no, plus 1, so 15.
A horse, like, it seems to have been through many a situation where it's being presented in front of nobility and royalty and such, so it knows how to behave, and it alights and just stands proudly and folds its wings in.
Asher, have you ever owned a slave?
I've worked for a lot of people who have.
I feel like I don't want to keep slaves,
Then
but
free them.
releasing lots and lots of slaves all at once also seems like it could be a bad idea.
You can potentially offer them freedom for exchange for loyalty if you were to ever need them in the future. So they would be free but would owe you a debt for being freed. For whatever that debt may be, whether it's fetching your shopping 1 week and that's it, or maybe potentially fighting a war. It would be up to them whether they wanted to or not.
Fighting a war.
Well, not everyone wants to do it, but a lot of these people look like they're, well, all they know is military. Some people live to
war
fight.
is what we have, and we suddenly have an army, and 500 elementals, 300 golems, I think they said.
I mean,
500
it's a
elemental,
yeah.
750 golems.
It's a fantastic amount, but I think they should all be offered the opportunity to go home if they don't want to fight.
Also, 500 elementalist mages.
Yeah.
And 3,000 soldiers.
Is that all there?
They're dotted around in various places. Some of them are on guard duty, some of them are on rest. Some of them are, making slaves do things.
An army will always fight. An army will always fight
All
much
out fight.
harder if they're given the opportunity to leave. Then they fight for what they believe in, and if they want to go home, then so be it. We just killed their leader. They know that we're more than capable of killing them all.
Yes, I'm sure that's how the logic works.
1 by 1.
Yeah.
You hear Leela say...
No.
I'm very nearly dead, so I'm on the
You've
ground.
also been
slowly.
healing for the last...
I am slowly
Yeah.
healing, but I'm just sitting here. Would you mind bringing the others here so we can all talk?
I
hate
beckon the
to
others
use
down from this
messenger.
ship.
Whilst they're talking, am I able to get out as the fire died?
Yeah, the fire died down, yeah.
Can I wriggle back through the crowd so it doesn't look like I was anywhere near the ring?
Make a stealth check. With advantage.
Just appear behind the horse.
Wriggling through. Yeah, but that's still a bit too tough.
Leela is sus.
Pretty big horse.
Pretty small gnome.
Stealth.
He is. Do you have disadvantage with your armor? I don't remember.
No, it's mithril.
Ah, yes.
Oh. It's not good. 8.
You sort of try and make your way through, and you bump into at least one person who just sort of keeps the head down, looks up slightly before they just get a bonk on the side of the head from like their butt of the sword that's just sort of hidden to sort of keep it in the position. Yeah, you see them visible.
Yeah.
But they're just like, you still make physical contact with
Yeah.
them. You're going to go. Actually, yours is great invisibility, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
That only lasts a minute.
Yeah. So that it actually wears off as you're walking through.
Oh!
I mean, we did just beckon them down from the ship, so it might just look like you've jumped.
It lasts for a minute. But
Oh, Leela, your powers of teleportation are getting better.
Yeah, right.
You just appeared as if from
the gap
nowhere.
might be 10 minutes, in which case, never
Oh,
mind.
it's non-magical.
In which case, that's only a minute. So yes, you suddenly appear looking in the wrong direction.
Wow, there's a lot of you. I'm very, very lost. I should go over there. Have fun. Hi guys, that was good, wasn't it? Yay! Well done, Lyra. Very well done.
Hi, Leela.
Yes, congratulations, Lara. Well fought.
It was close. I have an idea of what to do here. We can offer these people the chance either to return to the elemental plane of fire or to remain here and fight for us. And if they do, we could offer them homes here.
I mean,
there is space in Feros for more people, and especially now. And I think perhaps it's not a very, from what I remember, the elemental plane of fire was not the best place to live.
the way I see it is you're pretty right. I mean, the world as we know it has pretty much been destroyed, and it's going to be rebuilt by, well, people like us. And if we show kindness and favoritism and offer them nice things now, then it kind of adds to the world that we want to try and rebuild. And if they don't want to go to the fire plane, they can always have a place here where they're not going to be slaves.
Could I maybe make a suggestion?
Mm-hmm.
Could we maybe ask them to do one thing before they're free? What do we think about getting them to take on the responsibility of clearing out the what's it called? Where Lyra comes from. Sorry. I'm
The
total brain. Feywild, yeah. Do you think? I mean, they're a good matchup. They could clear out the army. I don't know. And if it's them doing it, we don't have to worry about running out of time. And when they're finished, they can, like you said, come live here.
One of us at least would have to be there with the gem.
Yeah, maybe.
Also, as a point of order, to get them to Nexus, you don't have to teleport them all there en masse with the blimp, or they're going to be marching up past the capital city, Maymore.
First, we have to find out if they want to. Well, how many we will have if they want to go to war.
I actually worry that might be too effective. I kind of feel like we might find that the whole place is turned into a desolate, fiery wasteland, and
I mean, it's going to be wrecked afterwards anyway. Once we do all this, the flow over of the dimension of the planes is going to retreat and kind of leave things warped and changed.
except that the Feywild is already like an echo of the material plane. So damage done in the material will have its effect, and they can be really bad in the Feywild. That's what I was doing while I was away, was saving residents of the Feywild from the encroaching corruption of the material plane.
But, I mean, does it work in reverse then? If you damage the Feywild, does the material plane get affected? Because they'd be technically attacking the Feywild, so...
I don't know, but it's effectively both. At the minute, I don't think any of us is familiar enough with planar magics to be able to say that for certain.
I mean, I just, maybe I got a little caught up on the idea of that guy who tricked us before, seeing an entire fire army marching at him, but yeah, if it's not practical, we shouldn't do it.
All right, does anyone else have any suggestions? Issues?
I maybe thought
Was it?
instead of
Hold on.
if there was another option, maybe rather than go home or go to war, maybe they could stay and help rebuild the space that they've helped destroy. Maybe
Yeah.
it'd just be really good to maybe, if they don't want to go home, they don't like home, but war's quite a serious option as well. But I mean, I'm sure people around here would really appreciate the help. It might take them a while to trust, but if they can maybe start doing some good, I think that would really help.
You need to bear in mind that if any do want to go back to the fireplane, we'd probably have to take them in the blimp.
I think some of these people can probably handle that themselves.
Maybe. Are the prisoners being brought here or former
They
prisoners?
are, and as you're sort of having this conversation, the first of the prisoners, the ones that were closest to you, which were Leader's family, are making their way towards you with the Grandpa Wolf's wrong trousers style legs, just sort of making their way across, and his her mother and father sort of walking alongside, just holding each other. Your father has a bit of a limp, he's being propped up by your mother, but they're sort of making their way over. And you hear the sort of the legs. They kind of music, and you see them coming, getting closer.
I'll run over.
Okay.
And I'll jump on them like a big hug. I'm so glad you're okay. Oh my god, I was so scared. I saw you over there, and oh my god, I'm so sorry.
As you-
Oh my god. I'm
as you-
so happy to see you though. It's been so long. Oh my god, I've got such a story to tell you.
As you fly at your dad, you knock him over because you are wearing quite a lot of heavy stuff, and he just sort of falls in a heap, and his arms sort of wrap around you, and your mother is also now on top of you. So it's now like the three of you in a little sandwich, hugging each other. And he goes, "Oh my god, Leader, it's so good to see you. I'm glad you're okay. Oh god, it's absolutely fine. This has been terrible here. Oh god, it's really awful. But it's God, I'm so glad. I can't believe you saved us. It's brilliant. Thank you so much."
I didn't say you. It was my friend Lyra. I should really introduce you to all my friends.
I know. But it's us, all of us, and you. And you guys come along. And you brought him back, and you took him, and he came back, and it was really amazing. I don't understand.
Oh my god, I'll tell you later. It's absolutely brilliant. I use a thing that I've like made. You know that what is it? The trigger thing?
Yeah. You overdrive trigger. Yeah.
I used that and I made time stop. And then I saw the blimp. And then I flipped us back to the desert. And then we fought that lady that was trying to like take over and do things to the blimp. In which case we're gonna have to talk about what the blimp can do. So I want to fix the gun back. So maybe we can like position it, because the way she positioned it on top of the blimp was not a good idea. I mean, really, who's going to hit stuff up there?
I know, it's a really illogical position. You
Yeah,
put it underneath
I know,
me, and I told them before, so I'm trying to make it. You put it at the bottom, and it flies around, and you've got better flight degree. At this point, your mother just puts a hand over both of your mouths, just goes, "By time now." And this is a thing that she has done quite a lot growing up.
No, but Ash just sit there like, the fuck?
I was literally just looking to see if Cedric had silence.
Meanwhile,
Wondering if hypersonic sound could do damage.
the leg just sort of slowly ratchet down.
Lyra has silence, but it's much more violent.
Then your Grandpa Wolf opens the little compartment, lets him out, he comes out, he comes and joins in the small dog pile, hugging, goes, "I can't believe this is it's happened at last. I'm so proud of you. You looked after. I hear you did a time something to put it off. I can't believe you did it."
Grandpa! Yes, I'll have to tell you about it all later, but I'm glad you're okay. And yes, Mother says we should be quiet time.
Thank you, dear. Would you like to introduce us to your friends? Yeah. She sort of brushes herself off the tie-dyed armor that she has on, just sort of getting rid of the little flecks of. Had you forgotten that detail, Tom?
Tie-dye armor.
Yeah. Gnomes.
Yeah.
She sort of helps you.
I
walk.
played a gnome and he wore nothing but like shabby black leather.
Gnomes that are not rogues, yo.
I'm now convinced he had tie-dye underwear.
Yeah. And she stands up and she sort of herself helps her husband to his feet and resting there. And Grandpa gets back in his legs. And he then looks up and he looks around and he's sort of squinting up and he goes, "It seems like I'm in charge now. Let's give him a thing. All right. Hello! I'm Wolf."
Guys, I'm Wolf, and I'm Mum and Dad. Say hi, guys. These are my friends that I kind of, I went off to find Fee and the protection babe. Well, now we're here, and it's been a roller coaster. But yeah, we managed to get a blimp on my first day. This is brilliant. Yes, so this is where we are now. I hope you guys are okay.
Oh, we're fine. I was pace myself for the purposes of everyone.
I whispered to you. I whispered to you. I haven't learned to do that yet. It's so cool.
This is my son Peter and his wife Isabel, and their daughter. In the incident that happened in the Contrivance Union, I recognize you, Kathina. Welcome back. I'm sorry we didn't straighten up. We've had a bit of issues. I am the last of the advisors left that would deal directly with the Scorch rights. So the leadership is effectively me now, with a couple of directors around somewhere. I don't know where they are, but we are glad for your assistance and helping us and breaking us free and breaking the chain, so to speak. I shouldn't have eaten that burrito. But we thank you. If there's anything we can do to assist you, then please let me know. I heard they talk about the golems. I was the leader of the golem laboratory, so I know a lot about golems.
Grandpa, that sounded a bit creepy.
I'm sorry, I can't help it.
But yeah, we'll absolutely look into that. I think we faced a golem not long ago.
And of course, there are many things that are within the quarters of... No! The quarters of the Scorch Lord over there. He just points off at one of the larger laboratories that seems to have been turned into a living quarters. With you up there's a lot of things, and we have plenty in the storeroom that you're more than welcome to help yourselves to. We have bigger problems than wares at the moment. A lot of our things have been taken and were transported to the front lines, given to the devils and so forth. Not sure why a devil needs a sword, but who knows? They might find it useful.
Sir, I know these people have been your captors for some time.
Yes.
Would you accept their help if some of them wish to stay here to help rebuild?
Oh, of course. I understand that each of them are enslaved and brought up into such a way that that's what they had to do for, I say living. They probably weren't paid very well, but we could do that. But if they wanted to come and start a new life here, I would be willing to let them take over or help with the reconstruction in a low capacity. We could pay them with stuff we find. We may need to find more stuff. I think there's a hunk of diamonds somewhere that we've been selling off. We might be able to do something with that.
Oh, don't worry, Grandpa. We've been there, done that. Yeah. Don't worry. If you need anything, we can probably get it sorted. Yes. I mean, maybe some people ought to go and look where the Scorch Lord was. You might have stuff up there. But I'm going to stay with the blimp. And Grandpa or Mom or Dad, do you know what's done to the blimp? Because I've got a rough idea of things that were done, but ideally I want to know its full capacity and what it can do. And really I want to kind of amend some things. I'm sure Laura and a few of us could maybe do with a little bit of a rest as well before we go back, because we got a few of these little guys to deal with. So
Peter says, yes, of course, I can absolutely take you through everything that we've done to it. I worked on quite a lot of it myself. We're very pleased with some of the arrangements that I've made to it, and as your blend, you can kind of look. Chum, are you ready to go and have a look at it now?
yes, absolutely.
All right, then. He takes you off and just starts running through the list of pretty much everything we've learned to do, which is on the sound that I gave you before.
Thanks. What on the
Yes.
Thanks.
You just sort of hear them rapid fire chatting away. From Wolves says, I suppose I better start making some promotions so that we have some leadership structure here. Isabel, would you assist me with that, please, in case I get tired? Of course, Father. If you'll excuse us, unless you need us for anything. She says, looking around at the rest of the party, looking at Lyra in particular.
Oh, yes. Please. Please, carry on.
Well, you'll be able to find us, but you won't be too far. At this point, other various gnomes, dwarfs, the old Furbold that seems to have been working here for some reason, little Goliaths, and a few other people that are the various other crafts, maybe 400 or so civilians that were living here that have now been freed. Are now present and able to are there effectively.
Umilu. I've got that wrong. Are they back?
Umlilo hasn't gone anywhere. Like, the instruction was passed out, and they have stayed in that position the entirety of this conversation. Unless directly instructed to do something, they have just been there.
Lyra's
As the
probably
majority of the army.
healed mostly by now, so she'll stand up. Say, stand.
They stand and still holding the mace in the flail in a position like, do you want this, or
I'll just put a hand up to him.
put them.
Sorry.
They put it away and stand at hands behind the back. Very much in the style of Grey Worm. This is that sort of body after Khaleesi saved him. I'm not going to miss that when I move.
Blimey, Gramps really tricked out the blimp.
I thought you were going to say that burrito really was a mistake.
I don't know what Gramps ate.
I've come to a decision regarding all of you.
We will hear it, mistress.
I do not wish to keep slaves. I will give each of you a choice. Each one can choose for themselves what they wish. Each one may either stay here in Mizdumal and help rebuild and perhaps find a home here. They may join us in our efforts against the other visionaries and perhaps be accepted into the population of Fioros here. Or they may decide to return to the plane of fire.
These are generous terms, my lady. We will discuss among ourselves and present each person with their options.
If you could, we will probably spend the night here. If we could hear by morning what the decisions are.
Of course. If I may be candid,
Please do.
those of us who carry blade, shield, and other weapons are unlikely to wish to return to the plane of fire. For to do so, we would be only enslaved again. We are more likely to stay here, but war is all we know. We are not trained to rebuild. We are trained to destroy, to keep the peace, to end war.
If that is the choice you make, then perhaps once this war is done, you could help keep the peace, help defend this place and the whole of Theros.
That would be a good life, I think. But that is, as I say, the likely scenario for most of us. We shall consult with each other.
We'll wait to hear from you in the morning.
They nod and turn on their heels. And as they do so, the entirety of the army that are gathered there, maybe 700 strong, stand and march off to go and attend to various things.
Right, so next question. Shall we have a chat in the Scorch Lord's quarters or go back to the blimp so all of us can talk?
We should certainly investigate the Scorch Lord's quarters. There may be useful information there.
Oh, there's a small person.
All right, so you make your way
Though I
towards...
think there may be some kind of alarm on the door.
You make your way towards the Scorch Lord's quarters, and as you get up there, you see that this room has been kept incredibly warm, although the heat is slowly dissipating from the area now the Scorch Lord has died. In there is a firm bed that seems to be crafted from pure obsidian. There is a desk with writing implements that are probably, rather than being paper and ink, it's more slate and chalk, because those are far less likely to melt. And there are a few other bits and pieces sort of dotted around. In the room there's a cabinet and a few other things, and a chest and such that may contain other bits and pieces.
Okay, how many of us are here?
All of us, I believe.
I think Avatar's still back on the blimp.
And Leela went with Pete.
Designation K-17. And Leela was off with her dad, so...
So, Fee, Foundling, Asher, Cedric, and Lyra.
Yep.
Firstly, she'll take off the cloak and give it back to Foundling, and take off the belt and give it back to Cedric.
Okay. It's not belt, it's braces, but yeah, it's fine.
I thought it was a girdle.
No, it's golden braces.
Yeah.
So the mother's embraces returned to Cedric. I don't know whether or not he took it off him.
We didn't.
Okay.
It's still there.
That makes life easier.
Just a couple of things. Thank you all. I could not have finished that without all your various help.
Oh, we have no idea what you're on about, Lyra.
None of us did anything. I literally just stood there.
Right, we better have a look around, see if we can find anything useful, interesting.
Okay. Who is helming the investigation check?
I'm reasonably good at investigation, but
Cedric will cast a bless on, or guidance, or whatever cantrip is. I think guidance.
Guidance.
add a D4, isn't it?
D4, yes. Is anyone?
I will help. Yeah.
So roll with advantage and a D4.
I rolled a 5 and a 6.
Oh,
Ah,
add guidance to that.
Obviously, I'm tired from the fight.
yeah, you
Oh,
are.
then a 4. So that comes to a 16 altogether, I think.
God. Okay.
You don't have a D10 left, do you, by any chance?
Pretty sure not.
No, I
Pretty
think
sure I've used that.
you used it for a saving throw when you were really poor, when you rolled a really bad roll. Okay. You have a look around. You come across the various things upon the desk. One of the main things that you see there is the various slates that have tallies of what looks to be a sort of an inventory of sorts. That it seems to confirm the information of how many slaves the Scorch Lord had under his commands, as well as an inventory of various weapons and armaments that have been created in the time that they've been here, that have been brought over from the Elemental Plane of Fire, and that have then been shipped on.
Oh no.
By the looks of things, there are still dozens of crates of armor and armaments that are still within Mizkumal and have not yet been transported. It seems to indicate, reading through it, that a lot of these various bits of weaponry, some of them had gone to the Elemental Plane of Water and had gone to Solrita to arm up the various individuals there. That seems to consist mostly of metallic weapons and leather armor. Not much had gone to the to South Peak or up to the to Guy's Desire. Some of it had gone to Maymore and had armored out the for the devils that were there, but had also gone to a city that's named, you aren't entirely certain how to pronounce it. But upon sort of a bit of understanding of it and your particular knowledge of the plains there, you understand that this is probably a city within the Astral State and is most likely going to be a Githyanki troop. Because some of the pieces on there are also armaments for dragons. And you understand that Githyanki, in particular, will ride upon young red dragons in their formative years to gain battle experience and then release them out. So you are understanding that this is probably going to not be a great situation.
So the crate, is there any indication of where the crates that remain were headed for?
No, it's not. It's not DVD. It's not indicated as such as part of the ledger.
Our army is kitted out, isn't it?
Yes,
Pretty well equipped.
they're very well equipped. You don't know how good the equipment is in comparison to some of this. Some of this, as you're sort of reading through it, seems to translate that these are above average arms and armaments. Whereas Asher, your particular understanding of what is commonplace within Asgard, the armors and armaments, they have a lifetime. Oh, they have more than a lifetime to be able to craft and wield their own stuff. So they do have some good knowledge and are able to upgrade their weaponry over time. It's just whether or not it's going to be enough. Something that the soldiers that have died thousands of years ago, and so the last couple of centuries, would have been able to upgrade their weaponry. Some of them may not. They're newer arrivals.
So most of our armies, probably about
Fairly.
over 50%, will be carrying a bang average weaponry and armory.
Probably just like equivalent of a +1.
Yeah, nothing more than that. And it's only people like Ranvig and the other top end that may be carrying something a bit special.
Like a +3, yeah,
Yeah.
holy Avenger sort of thing.
Still, we might have an opportunity to help. Didn't we find like a cache of +2 equipment
We did, yeah.
in Medusa's Island?
Yes.
And that was taken to
Yeah.
Rambig's army, wasn't it?
You also find that written as a sort of a footnote is medical supplies, in particular potions of healing. That there were batches being produced and rushed through, so they look like they were due to be shipped out tomorrow. So it's likely that they were coming to the end of their brewing period today and being bottled up.
Oh, we should look for those.
We definitely want those for our troops.
By the way, is there any like penalty to drinking too many potions of healing all at once? Because I drank a lot.
You might pee later a lot.
There is, I mean, there are rules of if you drink 2 different potions in a round, that a mishap may happen. But for basic potions of healing, not really.
It's like mixing drums.
Kind of, yeah.
Mishap.
Mishap may happen. Mixing grape and grain may kill you, but drinking too many healing potions, they are designed to not kill you.
I should hope so.
Wondered if they might have like addictive properties or something,
Make a Constitution saving throw.
like prescription painkillers and stuff.
Yeah.
Look like you've been drinking Kool-Aid the entire time. You've got a really red mouth.
If you are going to get addicted to them, please just get addicted to the common ones and not the legendary ones.
The common ones are gateway potions. You know, you start on them, and then not enough. You need the harder stuff.
Hard stuff. That's where all the diamonds going.
It's why it's called Greater.
Yes.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you start on that path, you end up snorting crushed diamond and casting greater restoration on yourself.
For no other reason. Just because I want it.
But that's the main thing that you find sort of looking around within here. You're not able to get into the chest or the cabinet.
Are they locked?
They seem to be locked. They also seem to be enchanted.
Ooh, maybe we should ask some of the elemental mages, or see what comes up. Anyone else have anything we need to do?
Has anyone spoken to Foundling yet?
To who?
To Foundling.
I mean, he's in the room with us.
No, it's just like you know,
They
it's
are.
been quite an eventful day for yourself. Are you okay?
Not as eventful as it has been for Lyra.
Well, physical wounds and mental wounds are one and the same. That woman seemed to have some select words for you.
She did, but there's little she can say that I believe, so what she says is of little consequence.
It's just you know, it can be upsetting when people do that to you, and I just want to let you know that, you know, we care and we're here.
Thank you. I am frustrated she escaped, but we've certainly disrupted her operation here. That is a good start.
Well, if you ever want her dead.
Oh, I do, but I can be patient. Maybe our new friend that Kelatar's looking after might know something that might help me track her down.
Oh, let's go and make them talk then. Maybe that's the next port of call.
Does anyone else think there's a non-0% chance that she turns up tonight? Tries to steal the ship back.
I think that would be classed as a suicide mission. So yeah, likely.
Not necessarily. She did seem to escape with most of her forces.
I'm just saying, Our Lady Lyra here now commands the entire army here. And it's now got us in charge of it, so it makes it far more unpredictable.
I feel obliged to point out that didn't stop us.
Yes, but we're us. There are only one us. No one else would be so stupid to split their team in two and have full confidence that they would walk into the middle of a area controlled by over 1,000 troops with a visionary capable of killing pretty much all of us and boldly just take that ship. That is a plan, if you want to call it a plan, that only a select few would deem okay to try.
Manly, make a wisdom saving throw for me, please.
Is that to see if there's only one us broke my brain with the grammar?
There is only
No.
one us. Us
No,
is only
that's you
one.
to decide whether or not that has affected you.
Wisdom saving throw. 27. I'm so
No.
wisdom. Well,
Okay. As you're sort of having this discussion, you feel a presence. And you turn around and you look behind you, and there is what looks to be something akin to an eyeball that is floating up in space. And you see it, and you instinctively swat up with two of your hands and just close it between you. You feel a gentle probing touch to your mind, as if something was trying to observe upon you.
it seems we are being spied on.
What's new?
For once, it may not matter very much. We weren't going to be able to keep taking over Ms. Dumal's secret anyway. And we haven't exactly said anything that sensitive.
Oh, and, even if we had derived a plan, name one time we actually stuck to it. I mean, sometimes it might be good to let them know what we're planning, because we always seem to do the bloody opposite.
If it was Ferrari spying on us, she is not to be underestimated. She may not be as physically strong as the Scorch Lord or others of that kind, but she's far more devious.
Okay. So,
Fucking magic users.
I know, who'd play one of those next campaign?
Who played one of them this campaign?
Yeah. So, what are you guys going to do? What's next?
I think we've just about exhausted the possibilities of this place, at least for now.
Unless we can get those cabinets open.
We seem not to be able to, even with Asher
maybe.
being strong and stuff.
Oh, well, not every task requires bashing it into 1,000 pieces. Maybe we should talk to Gramps or Leela. Or Kafina. They're very arcane-y.
I mean, Kafina
Opening.
is here in the room with us.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm almost out of magical power. I'd rather we ask around first. And if not, then I can probably rummage up a spell to break in.
Yeah, just wave your hands over it and do that. Nom 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 nom.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever done that, Asher. It works differently than that.
Actually,
Maybe Leela's family knows of someone here who has some skill with locks. This was a place of mechanisms and such things. There may be one who knows about them.
And if not, we can put it on the ship and drop it from a great height.
magic usually stops that sort of like working.
We could drop it on our enemies.
We now have an unbreakable weapon.
Just have the blimp hold it in its tentacles. Bang!
Just
bang,
throw it at
bang,
people.
bang.
Okay.
Hang on, no. If it's indestructible, blimp shield.
Very small blimp shields.
Lirala
All very
uses
impractical
shields.
to carry it around.
We'll get all those +1 swords we're probably not going to use and just layer them around the ship.
Ah, yes. Put a bunch of pointy things around our blimp. That's a great plan.
It's not a real blimp, though.
That's just the outer layer of it. It's actually just a psychic flying ship.
Yeah.
But for some reason, people have been referring to it
You
as a
say a
blimp for
blimp,
so
you
long.
think a blimp. Our minds are very simple. There's a lot of other things to think about.
I never referred to it as a blimp to start with. I just did when you guys did.
It looked like a blimp.
Not
Briefly.
wrong.
Blimp is one syllable. It's also just easy to say.
Yeah,
Blurb.
Northwood is a little bit tricky. It does. Northwood does sound cooler though.
To the Northwide.
All right. So, heading back to the blimp, North Lloyd, to go and discuss with designation case 17.
Oh,
Yeah. I think so.
Wow.
As you head back into the blimp, you pass some of the gnomes who have been attendants to the Scorch Lord's thing. And one of them says, "Were you able to open up the case?"
open up the case?
Yeah, the chest, trunk, whatever you want to call it.
No, we weren't.
You couldn't find the key?
No.
Oh. You want us to go look for it?
Would you mind?
Well, yeah, we know where he stores stuff. We'll go have a look for you. Well, we'll come find you if we find it.
Thank you.
Or do you want us to just bring the stuff that's in it?
I tell you what, if you manage to unlock it, come and let us know. Don't open it, just in case there's something bad in there.
We'll bring you the key. We'll bring you the key.
Good idea.
Alright. They toddle off to the room and you guys make your way down and you come back to K17 is sat with Calazar in one of the rooms. They are sat with their tentacly arms crossed with small discharges of static just zapping at various things in the air, dust motes that fly past. And Calazar just sort of twiddling thumbs.
Did it go well?
Remarkably.
The Scorch Lord is defeated.
Again.
For good this time.
Hopefully.
Thanks to Lyra.
That is good to hear.
Foundling, my inclination is to offer this one the same choice as I've offered the rest, but if you have any thoughts of your own, what do you...
That seems reasonable.
What have you offered the others?
Might make a slight alteration. We offered them a choice. They could remain here, help to rebuild. They could join our fight against the other visionaries, or they could return to the plane of fire. In your case, I doubt the plane of fire would be a good option. But I suppose if you have a particular request, we could take you somewhere else. Possibly.
I do not have a home, so to speak. I was taken as a child, I think. I'm not sure if I was taken or if I was bred like this. But I do not know where I would find solace. As I told this one before, I cannot touch others. Perhaps I need to seek those who feel a bit like me.
Some of the warriors in what was the Scorch Lord's army were also concerned about their inability to do anything constructive. This place would need defenders. It could be a chance for you to make a home and a new life for yourself.
It could. But I do not want to be in a place where people look at me and see war. If it were possible, I would like to be taken and left upon Hellas Gracias.
Why?
Because I have done no wrong there. It will be a fresh start.
Foundling.
Sorry, can I just insight check that to
You
see
can?
if they're being truthful?
Make an insight check.
25.
They are being truthful. It seems to be that is a continent that they have caused no harm upon.
Foundling.
Yes.
You studied at a monastery, did you not?
Yes, I did.
And where was that?
On not far from the coast, in this region controlled by Elendor.
So that's not Hellas Gracia, is it?
No, that's quite a long way north. Hellas Gracia is the southern side of the mountain from where Vectoran is.
Has this one ever been that far north? And would that be a... My thinking is perhaps what might help would be learning sort of discipline and self-control. They might be able to learn to control their lightning touch.
I could certainly make such a request of Master Lowe, the one who taught me, if that is something that would interest you, Kay.
They seem to pause at the reference of K. I think I would prefer to be known as Kendall.
Do I recognise this as being a name of any significance?
Make a history check.
The destroyer of worlds.
8.
Nope.
Kenlal it is.
But yes, that would be an option. I would have to meditate upon it. I do not know whether it would be better for me to go and seek training in a monastery I've heard resides within Vectoran.
We did visit there. They certainly have a noticeable master. I think I would be happy to accept such a solution to your situation. I should warn you, however, when we were discussing matters earlier in the Scorch Lord's chambers, there was some attempt to magically spy on us. It may be that Ferale or one of her minions would attempt to seek you out in future. So, if you do go to Vectrum, it might be wisest not to wander off on your own.
I will take that under advisement. I had intended to walk there. Have time alone to think.
That would be inadvisable.
Very well. I am yours to do with as you will. Until you release me. Not that.
That's what killers are.
Yes. Didn't even look at him, just not that.
Now, I would say that shows Kenlan has a high insight stat, but it's Kelatar.
Yeah, I think even Cedric got that one.
Would have not.
Is
Are
that
we-
all?
Are you aware of any plans for places of retreat or other locations where Ferrari may have gone to now her schemes here have been ended?
He had laboratories all over the world. I knew of at least 3 on Caradon.
Presumably one of them was this one here.
There is another hidden on Valak on Biaros.
Whereabouts?
It was deep underground in a drow city, I believe. I know not where. I was only ever teleported to it.
And the others?
One deep within the tundra, north of Elendor. One on the west coast. One to the east. But beyond that, I do not know. I only know because of the sun direction and the sea of each morning.
Do you even know which continent the coastal ones are on?
The Caradon continent.
Oh,
Caradon is the continent that is north of Hellas Gracia.
yeah.
So sort of Caradon, Hellas Gracia, and then Fiaros is sort of down here.
Thank you for that information. I do intend to put a stop to her, but our current mission may be more time critical.
Very well. When do you intend to drop me off? Or are you to leave me here and deal with me when you are finished? Here is relative. I don't mean this room. It could be this place.
I believe we will probably rest overnight before embarking on any new adventures. I think we may ask some of the residents here to stand guard on you.
Very well. If that is what you wish.
And then we can probably make our journeys tomorrow.
They come up and sit back on the beds they had been given.
Kelata, would you like a break from guard duty while you round someone up? I could sit here if you wish.
If you're happy with that, I'm happy to sit here and watch, but
Very well then. Hopefully it won't take long to find someone. I shall go and make inquiries.
Okay. As you head off, you manage to find a couple of guards that are willing to come and stand watch. But apparently, two of the soldiers who had already decided they were going to stay as part of the army, and are more than happy for something to do. Just kind of post themselves up outside the door.
Yeah. And outside the room, just briefly get everyone together and make sure they're okay with this plan of dropping them off near Vextra tomorrow.
I have no problem with it.
I don't see why not.
My reading of them is that they were telling the truth, and even if they weren't, there's a limit to the amount of trouble they can cause over there.
Okay. So, with that, you return to the sort of more common areas of Blimp to contemplate what your next steps will be, and that's where we'll take our break. So we're going to stop and get beverages and such. So we'll be back in 15 minutes and pick it up from there. So we'll see you. And we're back. So, having arranged with Kendall what they are going to be doing with themselves next, what would you, the party of Wandering Stars, wish to do? Leela is currently flitting around with her dad, trying to fit the thing to the underside of the blimp. They've also to the Nautiloid. They've also
Putting the gun or back on the blimp, but in a better place.
Yep. They give you two options. They can either put it on the front, just as a sort of like balcony turret, or they can stick it underneath.
Underneath.
Okay.
Can I make it though? So, how long did it take me to take off the ship last time?
10 minutes.
Can I make it so it's got like a quicker release?
quick release catch.
Yeah. Basically, if I want it off, then
Yeah, you can do that.
Like taking the front wheel off a bike.
Make an intelligence check.
Violently.
Straight intelligence.
Because the trick here is going to be making one that can be released manually, that isn't torn off when you fire it.
Unnatural 20.
Easy enough for you to do with the assistance of your family and the other gnomes around there. They're able to create a mechanism that is effectively two locking pins that attach it to the bevel that they have moved from the top and put it to the bottom, so it can be rotated. They've also managed to attach it to the seat.
I was about to say, does someone have to sit in it?
You have to sit in it. It's basically what they do is they basically weld basically a hemisphere of metal underneath that they then put on casters that can rotate round.
Yes.
And a hatch that they can sort of get out and sit. So you can just move it around and then just take it out and carry it up.
Do I need to be in there to shoot it?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm a rear gunner on the Millennium Falcon right now.
Effectively, yes.
Yes, basically. But
The Millennium Falcon didn't have a rear gun. It had dorsal and ventral quad cannons.
That's beautiful.
I mean, it's hard to have a rear gun when it's a circle.
And when the engines are at the back.
Well, that too. Anyway.
No, continue. This is nerdism at its best.
So
that's what I'm doing.
You have got a firing platform underneath the North Lloyd, as they do in many planes.
Sorry, does the person firing it have to be one of the people connected to the ship?
No, it's a different mechanism. They don't have time to connect it to the battery mechanism that they had set up before. So they effectively built in to get around your energy requirements. They had connected it to a generator that they had installed.
Mm-hmm.
They're not able to get the connection done before you leave.
That's fine, but I use my own energy.
Yeah, so effectively you have to fire it.
I have to fire. Okay.
No one got a big extension cable lying around.
Fortunately
yes,
not.
Because it is energy for all of them, isn't it?
Yes.
Yep, that's fine.
I need 300 feet of chain and some duct tape.
And that guy's leg.
I can look at that on like.
Look at you with all the film references.
Sorry?
Look at you with all the film references.
The one film reference, The Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
That was my only film reference.
The only film Lucas
Star
ever
Wars
watched.
one, not 3 minutes ago.
That was
I
me.
didn't make it.
No.
I
Twice
didn't make
me.
that reference because I've never seen the film.
You've never seen any film.
No.
Apart from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
No. Yes. So yeah, on future rests, if she's
Yeah,
time,
if you have downtime,
that's
you
fine.
can-
I just assumed I'd use my energy for it.
Mhm. No worries. So that's what-
Can I also? Are there a lot of people still currently on the ship, or is it just us
I mean, it's just you guys, but there are people milling about.
on the ship?
Well, milling around Ms. Tumal in general. And the ship is pretty much near to everyone.
I want to start putting locks on the doors. So, like, arcane lock the doors.
Okay.
So people don't steal it again.
Okay. Easy enough to do. You have the bigger problem of the fact that the front windscreen is smashed to pieces.
Can we get someone to fix that too?
Again, not in the time that you have. Not before you leave. It's at least a 2-day job.
Okay. That's fine.
Mostly because they have to make the glass that's that particular shape.
Okay. Can I leave them to make it and we come back in 2 days?
You can ask them to do it, yes.
Yes, please.
They may have more pressing things on their mind, but they may get to it.
I mean, at the moment, it's definitely an MOT failure.
Yeah.
There is a crack in the driver's eye line.
Are there doors to get in from the front balcony? Are there doors to get in the side, or are they just open?
There's ladders that get up onto the balcony, and there are doors that go from there into the cockpit.
Right, so there are doors. So when there is glass and windows, you still have to get through doors. That's fine.
Yeah.
No.
There are doors into the cockpit and the doors out of the cockpit into the Letterman. There's also the hatch at the top
Yeah.
where the older brain was. There's also the bomb bay doors at the back, the cargo bay doors.
Okay, so there's no point in doing any of this until we get the window fixed. I will ask if they've got time. Like, I know they're trying to rebuild a city, but like, I'm going to fight a war! If anyone could dearly mind maybe looking at fitting me some windows in a couple of days.
There's a couple of the glass blowers laboratory or the glass blowers that are able to.
Grandpa can put in a good word.
Yes, he's kind of in charge now.
Yes!
A couple of them are the glass. The glass makers, unsurprisingly, not particularly good at building houses. So they have some time. I mean, the windows come later.
Yeah.
Trouble is, people around here like to throw stones, so can't make the houses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they with a little bit of persuasion, they are willing to make this for you.
In a couple of.
It'll take them a couple of days. to do.
Okay, that's fine. Yes, I'll just sit in the blimp until I get the windows fixed.
Or you're still doing some work.
Or I'm just going to leave it up really, really high.
That's also a possibility. It's not like any.
People can fly now, so.
It's not like any of the enemies you're coming across can fly.
Shit. Looks like I'm blimp sitting. To be fair, who else is going to fire the gun?
Nah. Anyone else wanting to do anything?
I just wanted to check. Lyra was able to change the I'm going to use the game word for it, intelligence check, for connecting to the ship, and she did manage to pull that off in an afternoon. Is she able to, in a short amount of time, maybe with Fee's assistance, make it so it only connects to certain people?
No.
No.
It's not designed like that. It's a general connection into a sort of a hive mind, and there was a mechanical element that they could do to sort of drop the resistance to it and the backlash that comes as a part of it. That part's going to require a specific enchantment that someone's going to have to sit and do for an extended period of time.
We put a password on it, and the three of us die. No one else can fly the balloon.
I mean, I just don't want anyone else to steal it again. And every enemy we come up against can teleport, just like how we got onto the ship basically and do a Theoremist and all that. So I feel like there's a good amount of people that are just going to sneak this away from us. But yeah.
Again, Neela's probably not going to leave it much now, so we'll see.
Unless we really need to. Whilst all this has been going on, you've been sort of having the gnomes that had gone to find the keys for Scorch Lord's chest have returned to you, Lyra, and have presented you with a small key ring with two quite large keys on it. The key ring itself is quite tiny, but it does seem to just hold these two together. But they are quite substantial keys for obviously giant-sized hands.
Thank you very much.
No problem. Small token of our appreciation for saving us. And they wander off.
Incline the head. Who fancies going and rummaging in the giant's closet?
Yes.
Stop.
Let's go and have an adventure.
Yeah.
Are you going?
No, I'm gonna stay.
Okay.
I'm not actually there. I'm just.
All right. You're just
I'm done.
you're hyping up
Done,
the party.
yeah.
Okay. Are you going, Calatar?
Sure, why not?
Okay. So you all totter back up to the
Oh,
giants,
giants.
back up to the giants' room, and you start looking around. And you take the chest, and you are able to unlock it, and it is able to be opened.
Would you like me to open it? If there is a trap, I may stand the best chance of dodging it.
Feel free.
Everyone else stand back.
I tense slightly. Brace for impact.
There's a subtle clench in the room as Foundling lifts open the chest, and nothing happens.
Mimic.
What do I see in the chest?
Look in the chest. There are some what look to be rags or clothing of some sort that has just been sort of folded into the chest. You can go searching if you want.
Is there another chest?
There was a cabinet.
Okay, go see if the other key unlocks the cabinet.
It does.
And again, caution.
Oh, this one just straight up swallows you and takes you somewhere else entirely.
No.
Oh, okay. Where do I end up?
Narnia. No.
Right, time to punch me some lions.
Oh, you're on the side of the White Witch, are you?
Well, no, but just thinking, you see a lion coming at you, you punch.
You gotta punch it.
Oh yeah, natural instinct. Yeah, you see a lion, the first thing you do is not run away. You just punch it. Tell that lion you ain't taking no shit.
Yes, the cabinet opens. There's a few odd bits and pieces here, but nothing of any huge significance there. Looks to be that there's some formal dress.
No traps, apparently. Let's rummage through.
I rummage through the chest.
I will assist.
Make an investigation check, and with guidance. Actually, what level bard are you?
14.
I think you can self-inspire at this level.
Watch it be 15.
I know, right?
His own best friend.
14. Peerless skill.
Look at us knowing what our characters can do.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you make an ability check, you can expend the use of bardic inspiration. You roll an inspiration die and to your ability check. You can do so after you roll the dice, but before the DM tells you whether you fail or succeed. You can only do it on ability checks.
Okay, so I've got advantage from
Help.
guidance, and
And a
potentially
D10 if you want to use it.
2d10.
2D10, yes. Because your inspiration is a D10 at this level, isn't it?
Yes.
God.
Um,
That's his inspiration, but he also has the Raven Queen's fate thing from a long time ago. Next level, he goes up to a D12, this inspiration. What was it?
I'm not sure I need it. I'm not sure I need any extras other than the 3 that I've just rolled.
What have you got?
32.
Damn!
Okay! Turns out Kalatar is good at this stuff. As you carefully move up the
Tell
way.
us what trees the wood of the trunk was taken from. And not the type of tree, the actual individual tree.
Yeah. Its name was Glendor.
Oh, Calator does have proficiency at getting in drawers, so presumably it carries over to chests and closets.
It's funny you mentioned Kalatar going through drawers. There are some giant undergarments in there. You take out and throw to one side. As you rummage through, you find that there is a dark leather belt that is intently crafted and marked with runes in gemstone filigree.
Magic thing.
And there is a red gemstone that seems to glint with some sort of liquid inside it.
Magic thing.
Unless you do that and you sort of you lean on it and you pass it back over, there is a as you find the secret panel underneath it, and if that's up out of the way,
Secret panel.
there are 3 more. There are 3 more of those gems.
More magic things.
And 2.
We found the Infinitude gems.
Now we just must find the gauntlet to put them in.
You also find a pair of potion vials with a syrupy iron-coloured liquid.
Ooh, tasty.
Magic nuclear.
Anyone deficient?
God, imagine going through D&D with anemia the entire time.
It looks like the Scorch Lord did. He was low iron in his blood. He was taking supplements. Guy was juicing.
Like you're a haemophilia.
I mean, that'd be an interesting thing to add to your character's backstory. That's just a thing for the haemophiliac.
You get cut, so every attack that hits just
An extra D6 necrotic damage or
I
something.
say, God help you if you ever get attacked by something that's multi-attack.
Yeah.
Turn into a sprink.
Has anyone ever seen Hansel and Gretel Monster Hunters?
No.
Terrible movie with Jeremy Renner and Gemma Watson. But quite an interesting thing where Hansel has diabetes from eating too much gingerbread.
That doesn't surprise me.
And that might be an interesting thing to work into a D&D character.
Yeah.
diabetes.
But anyway, yes, there are the...
Get out.
We did the exact same thing!
Repeat, get out.
Oh, good Lord, I'm in trouble. Welcome to the hive mind of Wellingborough.
Yeah.
Lots of times that you and I say the same thing, you and I say the same thing. Now you two have started doing it. Oh, God.
God help me. Help me.
He always does. Wait, no, that's what you would say. No!
You guys make the cutest thruple.
There's something about the word thruple that really just squicks me slightly.
No, that's what makes me.
No,
That's the part of the word thruple that makes me.
I have no problem with however anyone wants to live.
No,
I just
no,
really
we're not gonna-
object to the word thruple.
As
Yeah,
as I heard on the podcast, we're not going to yuck your yum. You do consenting adults. You do what you
You're
want.
not going to yuck your yum.
Yeah,
This will be an American podcast.
yeah, it is. Like as a phrase, but just Nah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Okay, so I found all of this in the chest.
found the stuff in the chest. Yes.
What about in the cabinet?
There's nothing in obviously in the cabinet.
Oh. Looking wrong above 30 again.
Yeah, there was nothing in the cabinet of any particular significance. He kept all his key stuff in the chest. There just seems to be clothing and formal wear.
So belts,
4 gems.
and 2 vials.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Gone are the days which we automatically find out what they are.
I mean, we haven't tried to identify them or look at them in any way. And that's
Let's
what.
take some time and do that, shall we?
Would you like to take some time and do that? Sure. All right. You sit around for about half an hour or so studying these items to discern what they do. The 4 gemstones are actually familiar to you guys because Cedric has one. They are they are the mastery gems, or they are mastery gems. So these items allow you to ignore the attunement requirements for magical items. So if they have a racial or a class aspect, you can ignore it. It's the same ability that you have as a artificer, that you can ignore any racial. So, for example, anyone could attune to Imithralis.
What? I didn't realise I had that.
It's a level 50.
Really? Mithralis is actually sentient and objects to certain people.
Yeah, but Mithralis has it. Mithralis as an item has a choice, but because it specifies that it's elves only, that requirement is ignored.
So it wouldn't object purely on that grounds, perhaps.
Yeah, it wouldn't necessarily be xenophobic about it. It might just not like you.
I don't think that's the thing I can do.
It is.
Sorry, would that essentially take the attunement requirement completely away from the item? So let's just say someone.
No. You still have to attune to it. It's just the prerequisites of the attunement. So if it says can only be attuned to by a druid, like the Staff of the Woodlands that Cedric has, he's no longer a druid. He can attune to the item because he's attached the gem to it. If you then unattune from the item, then the gem comes off and it is free to use however you want.
Is the gem able to be reused?
Yeah. And you now have in your party 5 of them.
That could be interesting.
The belt is a belt of pure focus. Whilst you're attuned to the item, you are able to attune to an additional 2 items. So it brings your attunement maximum up to 5, but it is one of them. So you basically can attune to 4 other items.
Right. And it has no other
property other than it gives you an extra attunement slot. And then the potions are 2 potions of invulnerability.
Can I also add a couple of items to this pile for us to look at?
Oh, there is actually one thing you do find in the cupboard. You find, as you're sort of looking around it, there is a very nice horn that you find.
Ash has got the horn.
Yeah, well, as you're sort of looking at it, Kelatar, and it's sort of inscribed in runic, actually, you kind of recognise this as being a battle horn.
Very.
There's a horn that you can blow through, and it effectively casts thaumaturgy, so that the sound can be heard over a great distance.
Oh, is this like what?
It gives off a mighty toot.
Kind of, yes.
The mightiest of toots. Can I add some items to the pile as well?
You may.
These are from the laboratory where we were fighting underwater.
Yes.
I have 2 red potions.
Yeah.
2 disappearing potions.
Oh, yes.
1 with black swirls.
This is where Luke has to really go back to find them.
That's why I tried to give him a vague idea of where I got them from.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember which session that was. That was a while ago.
I just kind of we put them in the bag and I forgot that I got them.
That's the Sunken Temple of Giant. Oh God, how long ago was that?
While.
I don't remember.
Oh, well, it was to get into the
There it is.
Hephaestus, that's it, yeah.
Was it to get into Hephaestus, or was it
it was to get into through the mountain, wasn't it?
Where the Matt's bird character died from swimming.
Oh, those potions.
Yes.
God, that's even further back.
There was a laboratory, and we just kind of bagged a load of stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Remind me of the descriptions.
There was 2 red potions, 2 disappearing potions, 1 with black swirls.
DMG is down there, I think. If I may.
Sorry, mate.
No, you're fine. The red potions, I believe, were potions of superior healing.
Lovely.
Smashing.
The potion with the black swirls, I will double check. I'm fairly certain that is a potion of speed. Speed!
The need for speed.
Let me just double check.
So maybe they go
Yep,
back,
yellow.
a need for speed.
Yellow for the streak with black and swirls on its own. Yellow potion of speed. And what was the other one? 2 that kept disappearing.
Yeah.
Do they keep coming back?
Yeah.
Those are potions of reduction.
Reduction.
Diminution, they're written as, but yes.
What, they make small?
Yes, they cast reduce spell on you.
They make small.
They make small.
This coming from a person that is English.
Yup.
No, she did English.
I can bend the words to my will.
Yes.
Oh, you're a word bender.
Yeah, word
It's
bender.
the worst of the avatar.
Yeah. What did you make the cut?
I don't know. Somehow being attacked by the Fur Nation sounds a lot more cuddly than being attacked by the Fire Nation.
But yeah, being attacked by the bibliographers is not really as threatening.
I don't know. They throw the book at you.
That's true.
Ow.
Throw
the book in, Corporal.
Yeah, magic item savant. You can attune to up to 5 magical items, and you ignore all race, class, spell, and level requirements when attuning to a magical item. Your level 14 ability, yes.
What's it called?
Magical savant.
I don't have that one.
You should do.
You don't.
Well, it's in this book, so it's a
It's
thing.
not a thing on D&D Beyond.
Oh.
Well, I didn't know that at all.
Seconds from now, Leela will go, oh, there it is. I mean, Laura will go, there it is.
Magic savant. Magic item savant. Here are your features. Yes.
Is anyone interested in any of the items that's been mentioned so far?
Well, not myself, but I have some things in my bag which now become very valuable to other people. Such as I have a robe of the Archmagi just sitting in here.
Isn't it a robe of evil Archmajor?
Yes,
Oh, yeah,
but it would
with the red-
remove the prerequisite of being evil, allowing a sorcerer, warlock, or wizard to attune to it.
Not that that's a sentence that you can use. It would remove the prerequisite of being evil.
Yes.
Yep. Well, magic item savant. It's here.
Pay attention.
Also, a Wand of the War Mage +2, which
It's too much to know.
To be fair, you multi-class. You've only just got that level ability.
Seems like Fee could get really powered up here.
indeed.
The trick I've had for a while is that I'm using 3 items just to use one, because I've got the headband and the tight stone to up my abilities so I can actually use the apparatus more often for a wider variety of spells. So my slots have been up. That rail gun that Luke's got made for me in another city somewhere requires attunement, so I just haven't gone back to pick it up because it's like, well, I can't use it.
Oh, problem solved.
Yeah, problem solved.
Yeah, well, that's why I was asking is does anyone else want it? Because obviously an extra attunement slot's great. Like, add an extra item. You know, I just want to make sure no one else wants it.
Is
first.
anyone carrying any other items?
Crack on.
Feel free.
Yeah, feel free. Unless anyone's like carrying anything else that requires attunement that they don't have or need.
I mean, I've got other attunement items, but I don't use them.
Yes.
So
I will. Would you like the robe, Kafina?
I mean, if no one else is going to use them, I might end up using them depending on the situation. So yeah, I mean, sure, if no one else wants them.
I've been carrying these for months.
So
I
no one else
I
wants them.
couldn't even sell them. So
Since you killed Reggie, I believe.
Roywyn, yeah, when she
Roywyn,
hit
Roywyn,
when
yeah,
she
sorry,
hit us with a meteor
Yeah, well,
strike in the tower.
Yep.
yeah, that's
I'll remove these from my inventory then, if you can add that, Jared. Robe of Archmagi, which is baller.
It's a pretty good item.
It's extremely good.
Do I have to look at the evil version or just Robe of the Archmagi?
No, just robe.
I don't think there is a specific evil version.
Okay.
It just says that they can come in various colors.
And it was, sorry, the other one was the Wand of something?
I have a Wand of the War Mage +2.
That only adds to your spell attack modifier, not your DC.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was why I didn't pick it up last time. I rarely use spell attacks. I use mostly saves, so...
Oh, no, you know who does use spell attack a lot?
Kelatar?
Yep.
Do you want it?
Yeah.
I'm pointing to him.
literally all I do is Eldritch Blast. So
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll remove this and give that to you.
I'll get a one with the wars.
+2.
Plus 2.
Why am I going into spell?
And then, yes, so the Belt of Pure Focus and then Mastery Gems. They are on D&D Beyond as things that I have added. So, things to consider with the various items. You can obviously discuss that out of session if you want to. If you want to just put a list of various items you have stored in various
I'm
inventories.
surprised they have like designed something yet where you as a party can just have a shared list.
That's probably coming in at some point.
Yeah.
I think they do, but it's known as writing it down on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
Not in COVID times, it's not.
I know. Well,
Having a shared document in the cloud.
That's
Yeah.
true. You know, just being honest, just like
I think there is a notes section within the campaign, but there's public notes and then there's DM notes. But given that half of the party have access to the DM accounts, they can see my notes, so I don't bother putting them in. So those are the various items that you can find within here. You are also informed that they are willing to prepare potions for you. They are keeping a certain stock back because they'll use it as part of their economy to get it going again when they are up and running, and also to treat the various injuries that they have here. But they are able to part with 100 potions of healing, regular potions of healing. They have a giant vat they make this in.
Do you want me to just add this to my sheet, guys, and then
It's either yours or Cedric.
I'll do mine?
Don't know else could do more to remember it. 30 potions of greater healing and 10 of superior healing.
Did you say 110 regular?
No, what 100 regular,
100 reg.
30 greater, and 10 superior, as well as the 2 that you have just picked up. So you've got 12 superior.
Yep.
Okay.
That's a mighty horde. Good for one. Good for one battle.
One medium-sized war.
Yeah.
Keep in mind bag of holding carrying capacity as well. That will come into effect. These are.
Yeah, I think we need to stock these on the blimp. And I mean, most of the regular ones we should probably take to the army.
I was thinking all of that would probably go to the army.
I mean, I used
Maybe.
quite a lot of potions
I mean,
earlier today. I could use with a few more stock up.
I haven't had potions in like 2 in-game weeks, so I've been relying on my shitty healing spell.
I will give 3 greater healing to Kafina. And I'll give 3 superior to Lirala. Would anyone else like some potions? These are from my own personal stock, not from that stock.
I'd like some.
I'll give you another 3 greater. That's me out of them. And that just leaves me with 2 supreme, which we just picked up.
Superior, not supreme.
Oh, I've got 2. Yeah, I'll change that.
There's a big difference.
There's only one level up, but yeah. So
Yeah, but that level is the biggest jump between them. It goes from 2D, I think it's 8D4 plus 8.
Can't tell you, I just got rid of it all off my sheet. That leaves me with 1 healing potion. Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah. So, that hit point difference is sort of the difference between you doing your hit points correctly and how you had been doing them up until recently.
I mean...
that number of hit points, essentially.
A whole chunk. Or whole Kafina.
Pretty much, yeah. It's about a Kafina. So, what are you guys doing? Where are you planning to go next? What do you want to do? Do you want to rest? Do you want to discuss? Do you want to swap items?
I gave back the items I was using, didn't I?
You did, yes.
Yeah.
What stage is the moon at currently?
You can't see. You're underground.
I might go and have a look.
Okay. You go up and you have a look. The moon is... Make a nature check, in fact.
D&D Beyond is not rolling well for me. 13.
Okay. Actually, this is probably a more salient point. Make it just a general... make an Arcana check for me. I think this would be Arcana. Each.
19.
Okay. All right, that's good enough. So, with the Arcana check, you would have the... Whilst lycanthropy is common in the Feywilds, and there are certain sections and cultures that are just lycanthropes, it operates differently to how it works on the material plane. Because there is no moon and no lunar cycle that happens in the Feywilds, it doesn't have the same impact. But you are aware that it does happen in the material plane. So you are then in the capacity to then go and have a look at the moon and work out what sort of state it's at. It's maybe 3 days away from full.
Right. I will go and talk with my party members and say, friends, while we were in the ocean, I was bitten by a wereshark.
So was
Ah, welcome to the club.
Now, since
You
then,
should all
I've
stop trying. You should all try to stop getting bitten.
Well, since then, I've been enjoying the extra strength that comes with it. It was actually quite handy during the fight earlier. But I'm slightly worried that in 3 days, I'm going to transform for the first time into a shark.
Just a shark.
Chocolate
I
legs.
don't think am I here?
Yes.
Oh, I am there.
Well,
I have legs.
the were sharks do. So the were sharks, the same as all other lycanthropes, they have a hybrid form and a full animal form.
Oh, so he'll be like King Shark from Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Players.
Yes, it would be.
Asher will demonstrate.
Asher turns into a hybrid tiger and then goes full tiger.
I was thinking more.
Will I be able to breathe out of the water?
In hybrid form, yeah.
Maybe.
You don't know. You
I
only
want
have the
to-
were shark underwater.
I want to warn you that this is going to happen, and we should be prepared for it.
It doesn't seem to have caused any problems for Asher.
I'm more in control of mine. It's been a while.
Generally, Lyra has better self-control than you, so... if not
Agreed.
fine, I'm sure Lyra will be.
Some could say that the first transformation might be the worst.
Didn't that happen to you on a ship? And you almost killed us?
Yep. That's why I didn't disagree with what Foundling said.
Would you like us to remove that curse from Lyra? Because I could. I've been contemplating it for myself.
I just feel like at the minute it's an advantage, and we're not in a position to get rid of any advantages.
Okay.
I mean, if in 3 days' time I become an unmanageable killing machine, I mean, more so than usual, anyway.
I'll just make sure to point you in the right direction.
Well, yeah, so obviously. But if it seems like I'm going to do serious harm, then yes, absolutely.
That raises an interesting question. If we have sharky powers, would we be beneficial to attack underwater where we would have sharky powers?
Depends if. Well, it depends if your brain is going to be the working one and not the shark brain. Shark brain? Yeah.
Cedric has a good point there, actually. Lyra Lair could bite us.
I'm not sure it would work on you because you're already a were thing.
We're tiger sharks.
I've seen
Tiger
strange.
sharks are a thing. They're just not furry and horrid.
But they're great!
I'm just saying it would give us an entirely new viewpoint on attacking Saurisa.
I can swim and breathe underwater. Fine.
Hey, Nina. Nom 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 nom.
I'm just saying with magic we can all breathe and swim underwater, but we also gain all the disadvantages from being there as well. But
I do not find this a disadvantage. Please do not bite me.
Are you sure, Lee?
I'm
You
not-
do look delicious.
I'm not planning on biting anyone. We'll see what happens in 3 days.
But it may happen.
I mean, hey, we could all be dead by then. This may be completely pointless discussion.
most of our conversations are, but still nice to have them.
Most of the conversations we may be dead in a few days anyway, so.
But it's not a bad idea to maybe go, if we can use it to our advantage, to maybe go and see, use the scrying glass to see what state the water army are in. Can't remember.
Saurisa.
In Saurisa.
Shagasta.
The very specific reference that I think only a few of us in this group got. No, Jan. Anyway.
What do we want to do next? I mean, that's a few days away, so we've got 3 days to go. Or 2 days to go. In 2 days, I can get the windscreens fixed. But up until then,
So
I believe-
tomorrow we're going to Vectoram.
yes, we need to drop
Drop off Kendall.
Kendall off. Drop anyone back that wants to go to the fire plane. We need to drop supplies off to the army if we're giving them healing stuff.
Well, the army is going to arrive at Maymar in 2 days.
Okay, so we'll do that in 2 days. So yes, we might have a few visits to do in the morning. But after that,
Take the afternoon off.
yeah, let's just have a break.
Go down to the Winchester.
Wait for us to all blow over.
Hang on, that was a film reference. What's Luke doing making a film reference?
Yeah, I know.
I'm fairly certain that's at least a meme.
Yeah.
I have seen Shaun of the Dead, yes.
What?
True.
What?
We watched it, didn't we?
We did.
Who are you?
There's a girl in the garden.
I mean, now I kind of want to watch Shaun of the Dead full. Crossover.
Oh, the Dead World was amazing. You guys read that there was a woman who woke up and had a seal in her back garden, just sunbathing.
More. Funny thing was, she was like in Birmingham.
Not sure where it was.
That's where she was.
So yeah, what is planned?
One.
Dylan, what?
I think maybe for now we just carry on having a rest and see where we are in the morning.
As there's lots of people here, some of whom we have some level of control over, get guards posted throughout the night so we can rest up without having to worry.
Okay.
But yes, if we are going to be meeting the army and going on an assault the day after tomorrow, maybe we should take tomorrow as a chance to prepare and rest up and do anything else that's necessary.
Sorry, Luke, quick check. What's the name of that city that the railgun was getting made in?
That's over in Niedervliet.
Niedervliet?
Niedervliet.
Niedervliet. All right.
Or in Svartalfheim, up in Jorvik.
Svartalfheim. That's the word I remember. Yeah. If it's all right tomorrow, I wouldn't mind going past Niedervliet in Svartalfheim. I have a piece of equipment. I mean, we've got a teleporting blimp.
Yeah, I know. I'm just like, like it was on the way.
I mean,
it's like driving. Yeah, we're going to drive down to. We're going to go to London. Let's pop in at Luton on the way. Let's go to Edinburgh.
I mean, it's actually closer than I think half the places we're going to. So,
not really.
The fire plane's closer then. Cool.
The elemental plane. There's a portal to it here. You're technically on the elemental plane of fire.
Yeah. Okay. Fair point.
Yes.
If the blimp's got a cover on it, does that stop it from doing stuff?
Some stuff. It can't use its. It can't use its tentacles, and it can use the cannons, but they are, because they're psychic based. It just is harder shot, effectively.
Yeah, I'll need to cover off with it. If we're bouncing everywhere, I don't want to scare the shit out of people, but it's going to be a pain.
You're just going to scare the shit out of people.
Yeah, it's going to scare the shit out of people anyway. Yeah, leave it off.
Alright. Oh, you do.
Tomorrow is probably just a bump trip. A bump day.
Never forget to skip bounce day.
Never skip bump day.
Nightcrawler special training lazy bounce day. Alright, so you, unless there is anything else anyone wants to do of this evening, you take the night's rest. And you...
I've got. Oh, sorry. I was going to say I've got. Nah, don't worry about it. You're about to.
No, go
on. I know we already searched it really thoroughly, but the office we were in, I've still got the spell slot. I might just quickly cast Detect Magic to see if there's anything we missed.
Okay, the chest is magically enchanted with an abjuration magic.
Yeah. There's like nothing else like around the corners of the room near the desk.
No.
Nah, fine.
It looks like this room was converted from a disused laboratory.
Lavatory.
Laboratory.
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 Can we get a long rest?
Yes.
Yay!
Because you get rid of your point of exhaustion
Yeah.
that you've been carrying around for the last.
My hit point maximum drops like a stone.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, taking off the bell and taking off the aid that you had from caffeine.
Just don't take a long rest.
Yeah.
Keep the hit points, just gain exhaustion.
I think aid has worn off by now, and the hit points came from the bell, which you've no longer attuned to. So,
Interestingly, D&D Beyond still had me with that hit point max until I had the long rest afterwards.
oh, interesting. Oh, is that because you overwrit it manually with aid?
I suppose that might have been it.
No, I found when I attuned to it, it did fuck with your HP a fair bit.
Not fair. Anyway, it's sorted now. So, following morning, what is the order of stuff?
Well, we need to find out what's going to happen with all the slaves.
Or not slaves.
Former slaves.
Former slaves. Okay. Morning comes, and Umlio is stood at attention on the balcony of the ship, foredeck, and sort of stood waiting for you.
We'll go out and meet them.
They bow their head towards you and good morning. We have had discussions among us, and it is as I expected. Those of us who are trained in the ways of blade and sword and shield and spear, we have unanimously agreed that we will fight in this war to rescue those who were hurt. About 100 of the mages have said that they will remain here to help rebuild by using their magics. But the golems and the elementals are not of their own mind, so they are free to do as we want with them.
The elementals too.
These ones went through a procedure that left them without their minds. They are effectively drones, unless we take the time to remove them from the armor which they are in. But that is a long project, from speaking to the mages.
What does anyone else think?
I mean, if the mages know about how long it'll take to remove it, I guess that means they know how to do it. Maybe we should leave the elementals here so they can, help out while they're mindless. But then once the rebuilding's done, the next task can be to bring them back to their senses.
I will make a point, they are fire elementals. They're not great at carrying stuff.
It would be better going to fight rather than build.
Yeah, part of me feels uncomfortable making brainwashed, sentient creatures fight.
So you've never cast Conjure Elemental?
I mean,
It's got him.
They weren't brainwashed. They were just forced to fight like Pokemon.
Yeah.
I give them some magical power. They fight for me for a minute, and then they bugger off home. That's it.
Or die.
No. When they
Most
die, they put
commonly
back to their dimension. The ones that are in real trouble are the two that got turned to stone on Medusa's Island because they can't poof back.
Are you saying that actually, if these fight, that might be a quicker way of returning them to their home than the long drawn out way?
I'm also uncomfortable with the idea of killing them.
Me too.
I think the greatest thing that they could do is to serve the greater good in the fires of glorious
The
battle.
greater good.
Stop it!
Nobody tells
No!
me
You.
nothing.
The only correct response after that.
Are they the Anders?
Yeah, he shut it, but close enough.
I would rather they were looked after until their minds can be restored.
Yeah, seeing as the rest of the fighters are going to become, the rest of the army's coming with us or going else off to battle, and then that leaves the mages free rather than defending. They can work on the building.
No point rebuilding at the moment. If we lose, it kind of be for nothing.
Leo, did anyone want to return to the plane of fire?
They shake their heads. No. No one wanted to return there. They did not see it worthwhile returning to a place that had tortured them so.
That's fair.
Maybe one day when we are proven as individuals, but for now we would be recognized as slaves and property. That is not a fate we wish to go back to.
That is understandable. So, looks like we have another army in the field.
Collecting them.
Can we try and work out how long it would take them to get to Namor?
You guys, when you walked down from Nexus, when you got here, you sort of went past Namor. That took you just over a week. Less a couple of days probably to get to Namor. So it's probably going to take at least 5 days.
So if they started now, they would not be there in time to meet up with the other army.
Unless the other army was delayed for any reason.
I mean, we have the BAMF option.
Yeah, how many people can this Nautiloid carry? It's about 500, wasn't it?
It can carry 80 people and 80 passengers, and then it's got a shit ton of cargo capacity.
Maybe like, what, 200 people then?
About 300 or just under.
Yeah.
It can carry 150 tons of cargo.
That's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people, but let's be honest, it's also limited space-wise for people. Cargo for boxes and stack up.
That's fine.
People,
I'm sure
less so.
they'll carry each other. Get them to lie down like sardines.
It's 30 seconds. They don't have to be
could-
comfortable.
Or we can just make multiple trips.
Problem is, we don't have a staging area to take them to.
It would probably be best suited to get in contact with Ranveg then and see if they have been delayed.
Why don't we go straight to the temple with the scrying stone, look at where the army is, and just bring them to the army going to Maymar? Then they'll get there at the same time because they're together.
Maymor, sorry. Rob.
Maymor.
We don't need to do scrying for that, do we? We can just get a magical message sending report of where they are.
We could just ask them.
Also, part of the advantage of having an extra army is to have the extra army really approach from a different direction, force the enemy to fight on more than one front.
Agreed. It would really, really catch them off guard, seeing technically some of their own.
Given this is a city with dragons guarding it, we need all the help we can get in laying siege to it.
All those dragons. Oh, I do not want to do it. I'm prepared to go into war.
It's fine. They're small dragons.
I'm trying to discover humor.
Did he just try the sense of humour?
They
did.
No.
They're also red dragons, so they won't do as much damage to some of these things.
Oh, that is reassuring. I know I was out of character, but what do you think?
So we need to double check that the other army is going to get there in 2 days, in which case maybe decide a good point to drop everyone off from another side. Get them attacking.
If we do plan to ferry them via Banff, they could just stay here until we're ready to move them.
We'll probably need maybe a day to maybe get ready and settled and whatnot to get primed for going.
We are prepared to march immediately.
Okay then.
We have been for several weeks.
And we should obviously let Van Lake know about this so the forces do not fight each other.
Also, she has more experience with armies than I think any of us. So I think we might want to actually go and speak to her rather than just rely on things. So can I suggest that we go to Vectoram first and then try and meet up with the army and speak to Ranveig?
That makes sense to me.
Okay.
Was there? Where else did we need to go? We need to go and pick up. You need to go and pick up Bee's gun.
That'd be nice, but if we have bigger priorities, I can leave it for later in the day. I just thought I'd suggest it because we were saying a full day of prep, so
I'm sure we'll have time later in the day.
yeah. Important things first. My new toy later.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're getting
Very mature attitude, Fig.
Thank you, I'm trying.
Must be a doppelganger. Killer!
I want the flip!
How would you notice though? You didn't notice last time.
So yeah, let's get Kandal and off to Vextron first.
Okay. Easy enough to do. You take the blimp and go to the southern gates of Vectoran and drop them off. Kendall seems to be apprehensive to be going off and effectively having their own independence for the first time in quite a long time.
I'd like to go along with them to the monastery, basically to introduce them and explain the situation, because they know me at the monastery. I've been there before.
They do, yes. So you take them up and you have a discussion with some of the monks there, and they are that does take a couple of hours for you to walk into the city proper and then go up to the temple. It'll take you a couple of hours to come back. So if the rest of the party want to go off and do something else whilst family's doing that, you could do.
Anyone fancy shopping in Vectoram?
No, I mean, can't hurt.
Actually, do you want a picnic?
You know what? I think it's time that we try new things.
Picnic.
Okay. But yeah, so the conversation with the monks does not go poorly. It goes very well, and Kendall is appreciative of the efforts that you have gone to, and they begin their training formally.
I hope to come and visit you again in the future when all this is over.
I would appreciate that.
Bow.
Okay. The rest of you, what are you doing in Vectoram?
Around trying to have my head cut off.
What did you say, Jared? I think you didn't turn your microphone on quickly enough before you started speaking.
Just because we all seem to be making jokes about just doing some shopping, I was going to say let's get gelato or something.
I mean, there was a baker here that you went to before, the polyamorous baker. That's not the title, that's just the name.
Oh no! That is the shop.
Well, it's called the polyamorous
Yeah.
baker. I don't think.
Canon.
I don't know if that's good or bad for business. Like,
it's memorable.
It's not called the polyamorous baker. She
It's
is
what it's
right.
known of.
Yeah, it's what everyone knows the match. Which one's that? Oh, the one with the polyamorous bacon. Oh, okay.
Yeah, this place doesn't really have anything for me, and I don't have any money, so chilling on the ship.
All right. Sarah,
Hi. I don't really use them, but just about it. Can I go and pick up some more crossbow bolts? Because I haven't really been giving them a half potion.
yeah, you can get stuff with us. You get a case of them.
How many?
How many do you want?
I think it's like a silver for a stack of them.
I've got quite a chunk of money. So.
Yeah, crispy bits. I believe that's who you offend in is a case of crispy bits. They are 1 gold or 20.
Bolts are expensive.
Apparently so. Should have got a longbow.
Can I get 2?
Arrows are 20 for a gold.
Jesus Christ, why did it just use a sword? It's better. God, you imagine how much money Ash has saved over the years by not having to fire a bolt.
Yeah, but you can kill people from further away.
Yes.
It sounds exhausting. You have to walk further to loot them.
You can also get some enchanted crossbow bolts if you want.
Ooh, what do they do?
They basically they're +1 bolts. So it would add +1 to your attack modifier.
Well, I'm not going to buy the boring bolts, am I? I'm going to buy the enchanted. Yes, please.
Okay, the enchanted bolts are not very expensive. They are 50 gold for a case of 20, but they are single use.
I'll take the lot.
50 gold.
No, you won't, you fucking kid.
All that products?
So I'll take the lot, Harry Potter.
Yeah.
At which point I use Connor's line of, no, you fucking won't sit there, have whatever you want, the rest is for the train. Fuck off.
There's more people on this train, you selfish prick.
Yeah, just because you're on the last carriage. The first thing I've come to.
Are there any shops that sell like crystals or interesting stones?
Yes, this is a very big money community. They have a lot of different.
I thought there might be.
See if
Yes,
they want to
I-
buy a visionary.
I think I might look for some kind of knick-knack or keepsake.
Okay. You head into what is known as the Rock Emporium, where they have found all the various gemstones that were unique or were cut in such a way that they didn't want, they could only be sold, or they were mined in such a way that they didn't want to break them apart. There are plenty of these sorts of things. There are the what is the word for them? For those it's like a quartz that you have that's just hunky. It's got those weird fractal patterns that are contained within them. Is that one thing you have? Quartz?
Amethyst?
Sorry? Agates. Might be agates I'm thinking of. But you know those things where it basically looks like a dark coconut, you crack it open, it's got a gemstone inside it.
Geodes.
Geodes, thank you, that's the word I was looking for.
Geodude.
There are hundreds of those that they have with an assortment of different colours, sort of flash through them. You also find something that is quite bizarre to find down here. It appears to be a single leaf that has been contained in amber. But the leaf you recognise as being from the Feywilds. It's a particular plant that only grows in the Feywild, known as an evertree. And the evertree is something that is usually a cutting of it is planted in the start of a new forest. And it is used as the parent plant for a forest when they're trying to grow new ones. And the legends say that all the forests within the Feywilds are sprouted from a single ancestor.
That appeals to me greatly, and I shall inquire as to whether I can purchase it.
Yes. The dwarf is there says, "Oh, I have not been able to sell that, to be honest. I've never been able to identify the leaf for it. I'd be able to part with that for 10 gold." This person has absolutely no idea how valuable that thing is.
So we're like,
I feel like I'll give you 50 gold for this.
No, don't worry about it. It's just a bit of amber. It's quite common, to be honest.
This is very, very special. Possibly more to me than to anyone else. But
Well, if you're going to take satisfaction for it, then that is. Then if that's worth 50 gold to you, then I'm more than happy to take it. Now,
I would feel bad giving so little. So yes, here is 50 gold.
thank you kindly. For Evertree leaf in amber.
Evertree leaf.
Evertree leaf, yes. It has a much more attractive name in Elven, but I don't speak Elven, so. If anyone out there does speak them, if you would like to give us the translation.
Sure, there's someone out there on the internet that does.
Probably.
yup.
No judgment. You know, if you do, let us know. Follow us on Twitter at EatCritSurvive. Never a wrong moment to plug things. Apart from a funeral scene. Bit problematic. Okay. Anyone else want to do anything while back around?
Nope. Not for me.
Okay.
Is there, sorry, quick one. Scroll shop with knock.
There is a scroll. I mean, you can go to the Temple of Hecate and purchase.
I can't go into the Temple of Hecate. I'm a drow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're getting some funny looks whilst you're wandering around here, but in general, scrolls are available to purchase at Temple of Hecate, as people reliably inform you.
I might just ask if someone else will go in and just pick me up two, if they can, scrolls of knock.
I can go whilst I pick up some bolts.
Sure. Easy enough to do. 2 scrolls of knock would cost 150 gold for the pair. For you guys, yeah. All right. With the adventures in Vectoran concluded, you then make your way back to the blue and head. Are you heading for the army or are you heading for Sparta Fane? To the other dwarf city?
We want to speak to the army first, didn't we? But are we just bouncing in the out? We want to let them know that we're coming.
We need to find where they are first.
That's part of the problem. You need to find them.
Yeah, I mean, but
Gosh,
I think Athena wanted to go to Spartel Fame to pick up her item. I think.
We can do that at the end of the day. That's a later thing. It's not even that important. We should sort the army stuff out first, for sure.
And to find the army, we could make a guess at their approximate location and then simply fly higher in the blimp until we can see them.
There is a slight drawback in that plan. You guys have never been on that side of the continent and travelled in that direction. You can teleport to Channel Point or Nexus and move around to it, but
We not go to the Expanse.
You could pick a point in the Great Expanse, yes, and travel down from there, from effectively the scrying Temple of Gaia.
Temple of Gaia, yeah.
And then travels, it would be from there, putting again, maybe guess where they are, half of Namor. You're probably looking at, you're probably
I managed to find.
southwest-ish.
Who did I manage to find that place down in the copper?
Apollo.
Yeah, managed to find him.
Yeah.
So find the big army shouldn't be too bad.
Alright, you head on the blimp, you head back to the Temple of Gaia, and then head off in a southwesterly direction. Someone make a perception check for me, please, to try and find an army.
Cedric.
If I'm
Sure.
drunk, I do it as well.
If you want to, you can do it separately. Cedric has advantage.
Plus 7.
I mean, it's still not bad. 16.
23.
Okay.
There you go.
Between the two of you, you are able to pick out an army at a distance, and you are able to see the marching of the rank and file. Not really militant marching, to be honest, because this is more of a barbarian army. They are not necessarily trained for marching. They're not orderly in the slightest. They are there to kill things.
Wildlings.
And it doesn't really matter. Kind of. Bit more training about them than wildlings. But yeah, I'm getting all the references in today. Pop culture! But you are able to find them and bring the blimp down. There is a few that draw their weapons when they see it going, then the message gets passed down the line that they stow their bows and such. And as you descend, Chief Ramsey rides up on her pure white steed to meet you.
On the ground, or does she fly?
It is a Pegasus, so it does fly.
That's good. Save me out of finding to my top line.
And she lands on the front and says, "Greetings all. What happened here? Why's your window gone?"
Birds.
Really big flies.
One hell of a bird strike. They are problematic for lone flies. We weren't expecting to see you today. We're still a couple of days march away. What can I do for you?
We've got some friends.
Yes, what would you say to another army helping us?
Now I would. I'd say yes. What sort of army?
The army currently garrisoned in Mizdumal, which is now under our control and are willing to fight for us.
Her face lightens. Well, that is good news. They're trained fighters. They're not feared.
They are warriors. That is what they know.
What?
Unsullied.
Not the wildlings and the unsullied. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. We're in Game of Thrones.
We're attacking the city dragons.
Lyra is Khaleesi.
I'm not sure Tom feels comfortable about that.
No, except she.
What, where she suddenly turns into a fascist in the last episode? No, not really.
Yeah,
When the bells ring, you must call off the attack. Abso-fucking-lutely not. This bitch has been hounding me for years. Fuck 'em.
Last season didn't happen. It's fine.
Turns out Gerenolus is actually your nephew.
I say, did you become Jon Snow?
Oh, maybe it's a good thing Cedric's been acting as a gooseberry for however many months.
Unintentionally.
You knew all along.
Unintentionally for Cedric, completely intentionally for Ross.
Yeah, exactly. I think Cedric has been he's been Varys this entire time, getting in the way.
What about the guy who I killed? Does that make him the prince that was promised?
Maybe.
I feel like we've gone on a tangent a bit.
Here we have someone, yeah.
Yeah, somehow we've managed to write a better ending.
Come back to our Eat, Crit and Survive Game of Thrones casting session.
So we have this army.
Yes.
Who are very willing to fight. The issue is they are 5 days march away from Neymar. And we don't know of a specific place. We might be able to ferry them there in our ship, but we don't know a specific staging point we could take them to.
No. She looks around and starts doing mental calculations. Tucks some of her hair behind her that's come loose from her ponytail, that area. We could spend some time building war machines. We have some that we had pre-constructed, but we could build others, I suppose. We could build some catapults and not very much use for battering rams, I imagine, going into a mountain.
Siege towers?
Again, they're not going to be much use going into a mountain. Catapults maybe, because we could throw them. We could at least throw them behind them, and they could whatever we throw them could roll down. Siege towers, I don't think we could build them tall enough to make a difference.
Sorry, out of character. Aren't there a bunch of like robots / automatons / whatever that need piloting?
This is probably some of the stuff that would have come up. That they have been mentioned. No one has. Golems are there as part of the army on the end of the fire. They don't necessarily need piloting. This is probably some of the stuff that Leela's grandfather would have explained to you guys as part of the army. They are constructed so that they can be piloted by individuals, that their heads come off and they can be put on and attuned to, and then individuals can pilot them from a distance. They have an advantage if they don't put people in the line of fire. They have a disadvantage of that if they then can't see what the golem is doing, they're then effectively useless. The alternative is that you can attach the heads back onto the golem and give them an instruction and an order code effectively, and they will follow orders and will work pretty much autonomously.
Execute order 6D6.
I believe it's 8d6, known as Fireball.
And do the rest of the army know how to operate these golems in either?
No, that actually fell under the purview of the mages.
And are any of the mages with the army, or are they all staying at Mizdumal?
No, there's about 100 of them are staying in Mizdumal. 400 of them are travelling out. It was the mages and the constructors that made them. So the members of the guild that actually constructed them knew how to pilot them. But the command codes, because it was under Grandpa Wolf's purview, and he led the construction of them, he has access to those codes and can give them out to be utilized.
So we could set them marching today, and you could delay yourselves by 3 days.
But to make them effective, it would take a week. I understand that, but if we want to make these, so by the way, you have used up a week of the 3-week time period that you were given. Just an FYI of where you are in your timeline. You don't know how defeating the visionaries will affect that in any way, but you have defeated 3 of them.
We just assume we have to.
And in fighting at Maymore, victory ensures that we kill 2.
Correct.
Have we defeated 3 of them?
You have. No, actually, no. You've only defeated 2.
We killed 2.
Only 2. You went for the 3rd and had to run away.
Run away!
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, if we know we've got 2 kind of sorted by the army, that leaves us to focus on the others. But are we happy to leave it a week?
The downside that we have of camping up is that we then start using up our supplies, so our ability to siege is shorter.
So do you have enough supplies to last you a week?
Yes, we do, and we can hunt whilst we're here. The problem is that we're then eating into our supplies. We effectively have enough for a decent length of siege for maybe 2 weeks worth of stuff. But if we then camp here for a week, we can only siege for a week. And given that we're facing devils and who knows what else, it may have an impact. Mind you, we are skilled enough hunters. We could find stuff, find things.
I would hope that when it comes to the siege, we'll be able to get into the city and try and disrupt things from in there, which may shorten it so it's not a sort of all-out siege that can last for months or even years.
I would hope so.
This siege will be over quickly, for one side or the other.
It's not going to be a long one, is it? It either leads to Ragnarok or we're victorious.
We either win or we don't.
That's generally how wars work.
I wouldn't know. I normally only just win them.
Didn't you die in a war?
No, I never actually made it there, so it doesn't count it. Dying on transport is not dying in a war. That boat was not built for purpose.
It was. I just don't think the cannon that was shot through it was that was built better for purpose.
I wouldn't know. I never saw the cannon shot.
It went through you.
Hence why I died.
Right.
We'll call it a draw.
Do we have a plan here?
I think so. If we can hold for a week, build some siege weapons. We're 2 days away from Maymore now, and we can send scouts to go and keep an eye without drawing too much attention.
So, sorry, you'll be camped for a week.
Building siege weaponry.
Right.
But we can scout ahead, we can see what's going on. I mean, I can see here already and look down at the ground. The ground is frosted slightly with ice.
Oh boy.
It's very mild, but it is gradually encroaching from Maynard.
We also have some supplies for you.
Wonderful. What supplies have you got for us?
Take her over to the healing potion stock we were given.
Yep. But we will certainly take those. Our healers will be much appreciative of it.
We will be keeping some back for ourselves, but...
Of course. Remove what you need and I'll take the rest.
There you go, everyone. Take what you want.
Didn't we already do that?
I'm just putting it out there, if anyone wants
I don't want any more.
Yeah.
What is it?
There's 10 superior, 30 greater, and 100 regular.
Yes, those numbers.
I have 1 supreme. I don't have any more.
Superior, not supreme.
No, I have 1 purple one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've got a supreme.
Yeah, no, I haven't got anything else then. So I'm going to take... 2 of the superior.
Okay.
I'll take 3 of the greater.
All right. 2 regulars for you. Okay. Sure. Delta?
3 healing potions.
All right.
And then the rest are all theirs.
Right. He takes them, takes the crate. Or else you get some of the in her yard to come and take the crate out, move them to the medical supplies, and she nods. We will get to building quickly. So hopefully help turn the tide somewhat.
So a week here and then 2 more days.
Yes.
We'll set the army marching so that hopefully they'll arrive at the same time on the other side of Namor.
Very well. if there's anything you can do to offset the risk of being here, I'm very conscious that the longer we are camped, the more likely it is we're going to be spotted and they're going to be prepared, in which case they might be sending another army to flank us.
Understood.
Yeah. I think we should possibly think about making an attack on South Peak.
Yes.
So far, we've struck at the north and the southeast. The best way to keep them off their toes would be to attack the west as well. That also protects the army's rear.
That will be helpful.
It's a big risk.
I would also say that reinforcements from Nexus might be a problem.
Nexus.
Nexus is closer than South Peak.
It is. I feel like the people holding Nexus are the most insular of the enemies we face. They don't like consorting with the rest.
You understand them better now, so that is your judgment. I will see to it. So whatever you think's best, whatever you think will turn the tide for us.
See, the thing is, we go to South Peak, we could potentially end up with even more reinforcements. Perhaps. Depending on how it goes. Does that sound feasible to anyone?
Personally, I think that we took quite a large risk, but we had more time taking out the Scorch Lord in Mistamal and maybe going for another victory with only 2 days to spare if one of us were to be heavily injured, or worse, it would completely write off the attack on Maymore.
We're waiting a week.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, it's a high possibility.
And it would not write off the attack. We would be disadvantaged, but we would press on regardless.
We'd have potentially 9 days to recover.
Yeah.
So from the night I saw you, taken out 2 of these visionaries, so...
Yes, but faced a third and had to retreat.
Well, again, your judgment. Yes, Dom, sorry.
I was just going to quickly ask which one was the water, where the watery one was.
Solvisa.
Solvisa. We could tackle South Peak and maybe still have time to recover for an assault on Solvisa when you think the aquatic abilities may be enhanced.
I think South Peak might actually gain us more in the long run.
That's fine. Any action we take will draw attention to us and away from the army, and we do need to face them all.
Also, I think South Peak is the furthest away from any of the other locations. So
it's
yes,
quite a distance.
Drawing attention to there might be helpful.
Slight point about South Peak is probably the furthest south. The one that is most treacherous to get to is probably the one that's at Guy's Desire.
No, I think Tom meant as in like days travel. The furthest away from any other visionary. The one from South Peak is quite a distance between the next.
It's relatively close to the one at Guy's Desire, but they are, as I say, that is the more treacherous route. because the elemental, that's where the plane of air is, where the Orion is.
That one, because it's not actually a city, is it? It's like
It's the Orionid's headquarters,
yeah.
which was obliterated. And also Thundermir's house apparently is there.
Yeah. Well, you've heard my opinion.
I'm happy to take on Southbeak.
If you think it's the best option, I'm always in for it.
Okay. The one you killed already since you've been here. Didn't have the soul prism.
This will be the first time we see how quickly they recover. I mean, how long has it been since we last killed the ever-moving boulder? I mean, I know we did the whole. Since then, we've done the whole Medusa thing and chasing various gods' favor.
Yeah. From when that happened, in real time, or in campaign time, maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
What?
Yeah.
You guys have done a lot.
God.
You've done a lot with that, like back to back as well. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's almost like we're under some kind of time pressure.
Yeah. That's not long after I joined.
Yeah.
Blimey.
So, is that what is decided? That's okay.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right then. So with that, as you will get yourself ready for preparation at the beginning of the next session, you've decided on your next course of action, your next target, and we shall leave it there for this week. Pick it up next time, and we'll get rid of the chat popping up because that appears on the stream.
I was going to say, typing it does not stop it appearing on the stream.
Yeah, could have just said it. It would be fine. Yes, so we shall pick that up next week, and we'll see where it goes from there. Thank you very much for joining us. Everyone, hope you're taking care of yourselves, and check us out on Twitter and YouTube. Eat, Crit, and Survive, where you can find us and our previous episodes and see what happens. You can see this one again if you want to. Dom, stop it! I will break your characters next week.
Yeah, it'll take all the powers away for months on end.
Yeah, I know, right? Oh, yeah, you never got speaking to Odin, did you? Oh, well, never mind. But yes, thank you very much for joining us, everyone. Take care of yourselves. Stay safe. Good night.
Good night.